So, salt, that's a great question. I'm glad you brought that up. It definitely creates a lot of controversy because there's so many people out there that are eating low salt or no salt, and and there's just a lot of confusion on where we should be. So the reason is that salt, the answer to the question is that salt is good and bad. And so we all need a certain amount of salt in our diet. In fact, everything naturally has sodium in it. So in bananas, for instance, have sodium in it, and sodium is salt. The problem is that most people eating a standard Western diet, which sadly now is most of the world, are eating an excess amount of salt. So all of the processed foods, all of the foods that you're picking up where you're just opening the bag are going to likely have too much salt. In fact, most of the frozen meals that we're eating have an excess amount of salt. And so what most people are eating is they're eating almost double the amount of sodium that they should be eating. And so that's really the issue. But eating a little bit of sodium in your diet is not a negative thing. In fact, if you eat too little sodium and you're exercising a lot, you can actually get lightheaded and your blood pressure can be too low. So we do want people to eat a little bit of sodium, but you shouldn't necessarily eat sodium for your health. And that's sort of the thing I always tell people. So adding a little bit of sodium to a bean dish or to a stew or something to add flavor is completely fine. And just to remember though, that there's a lot of natural sodium you're getting in your foods, that all of the fruits and vegetables you're eating have sodium in them, and probably almost enough, and for many people enough sodium. So I wouldn't sort of add sodium for your health or add salt, but if you want a little bit because you like the flavor, but I would also, then that's okay. But I would caution people, and a lot of people, I would remind people that there's so many spices out there that add flavor. And I want to remind people that don't just go to salt as your first go-to thing. I mean, think about pepper, black pepper and red pepper. Think about cumin, think about mango powder and pomegranate powder. All of these spices add so much flavor without having to add a lot of salt. The other thing I would say about salt is that a lot of people think I could never eat food that is low in salt, but it's everything's about habit. It's just habit forming. And so if you're used to eating an excess amount of salt, you think food that is lower in salt is bland, but it just takes a couple of weeks to change your taste buds. And in fact, it only takes 7 to 14 days to change your taste buds. So just give it some time and lean into the process, and you'd be surprised at the changes you can make.
Yes, very true. Sometimes I'll add lemon juice or lime juice to add a little kick of salt too.
That's a great idea.